been a long day, and we are all quite tired. It's been a serious day, but also very helpful, I guess. So I'm not going to be long. Let me be a little bit personal. I've been a journalist for more than 30 years. More than 30 years. About the first third of my career I spent under communism. 20 years, the next 20 years I had under in democracy. And out of this last 20, almost half I spent in Brussels as Brussels correspondent. So I think I have experienced all kinds of environment for journalism, good times, bad times, and difficult times as well. When I was in my first 10 years, I was a founding member of an NGO, sort of half NGO, the kind we were allowed to have that in those days, which was fighting for freedom of the media, for press freedom. And then it didn't have much to do for a long time later on. And I have the strange feeling now that we are going backwards in time in the last couple of years. Maybe the situation is not as bad as it was, that I must admit, in those days. But I have the feeling that something like we had when we are traveling in the underground, when the loudspeaker says that watch out, the doors are closing. In this respect, I think that European Citizens Initiative on media is very, very important, and it gives a hope. It's much better now, of course, than in the first 10 years of my career, because now we can fight for media freedom in a European context, together with European colleagues, with other colleagues from different other countries. I don't know whether this is good or bad, because it's really not a very nice thing to hear that, for example, that William told us that in the UK they had problems in a country which was a model for press freedom for us for a long time. It's a sad thing. But on the other hand, still it's good that now this fight, which unfortunately must go on, probably will have always go on. Well, we can do it shoulder by shoulder. It's a different thing, and it's a good thing. During this day, we have, I think we have touched all three levels of this fight, of all three levels and all the three most important players that take place in this fight to keep media pluralism and media freedom. One is, which I call, which is the public, the journalists, the other media experts, and the public itself, readers, listeners, viewers, who we would like to involve in our initiative to sign, to put together the necessary number of signatures. I think it's very important that we collect all this, because this is what is going to put a pressure on the other players, namely the European Commission, which could start the legislation, and the most important, I think, our politicians. I think that now that we are on the run-up to the European Parliament elections, it is very, very important that we give real broad knowledge about a very, very strong campaign to our initiative. Not only to let the public know that this exists, but to let our politicians know that this exists. We must hold them to account particularly, I think our MEPs are very important, but our national politicians are very important just because, as somebody or many of us, of you said today, it's the council which is really kicking the ball at the moment. So I think it's in the first, in 2013, in the 21st century, it's really ridiculous that we have a common agricultural policy, for example, in the European Union, which affects about 5% of the population. We don't have a common media policy. So I think if it needs an exchange, for example, we are thinking about how to about the future of the union. If we need to exchange common agricultural policy and give it back to the nation states, or even to maybe to the regions, it would be better. But then I think that it's very important that we demand a common media policy from our politicians and our European politicians, that they take up this cause, and this is what they should. We should ask our politicians and our candidates in the run-up to the elections whether they would represent this idea or not. And we should ask our the public that they should ask their candidates whether, and request their candidates to represent this idea during the elections in 2014. I would like to refer back to what Lorenzo said. I think it's very, very important that something like that the European Commission and the European Union itself, the Council, is quite strict now to hold the governments regarding the budget deficit, whereas nobody really cares about the democratic deficit of the member states. This is what our government used very sort of smartly. We don't have any budget deficit anymore. They got a slap on the shoulder. In exchange, we got a huge democratic deficit. I think this is intolerable. And with this call to you and to your friends and to your acquaintances and to your readers, journalist colleagues and viewers and listeners, I would like to ask for your support and the spread of the word regarding the media initiative. And with this, I would like to thank you for the participation and for the interpreters for the work. Thank you.